Hello, happy Friday. How are you today? I hope you're doing good. It is October 1st, so I thought I would do my first attempt at a vlog. I have no idea what I'm doing, so bear with me through this whole process as I figure it out. But yeah, so I thought I would document some days in the beginning of October. Marla, here's someone coming to the door. Okay, interrupted already. It's fine. We're going through it. So this morning I drank some coffee. I dropped off a friend's birthday gift, and now I need to finish getting ready and actually do some work. It is still a weekday for me, so there's quite a lot I need to do work-wise. But then afterwards, I thought I would walk to the cemetery. That's about a mile from our house. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, like if someone's about to call me sacrilegious because I like walking through cemeteries, but I've always really enjoyed walking through them. I'm really lucky right now by living by a beautiful one, and it's only about a mile from my house, but it's just something that Connor and I used to do a lot in college. We would walk through and look at the names, and so I still do it all the time. And the cemetery is stunning. It's just surrounded by these big, huge evergreens, and it's hilly. And I'll take some videos so that you can see why I love it so much. After that, I'm gonna take off all my makeup and put on PJs and hopefully start reading The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. This is the book club book for October for Christiane Jones online book club. And I'm actually really excited. So we had read American Gods the last month, and that was such a slog. So this month we chose a much shorter, kind of a lighter book, and this one is a YA. It's about witches, so 'tis the season, and specifically it's about witches who are tied to seasons. So there's spring witches and summer and fall and winter, and their powers are really only activated during their season. During the rest of the month, it's like really diluted and they don't have a lot of access to it. With that though, their power is tied to the natural phenomena that happen during that season, like tornadoes or storms or things like that. But Clara, our main character, does have kind of the trope of the chosen one, but she is an Everwitch, which means she has access to all 4 seasons, or she never loses her power as the seasons go through. So I'm really excited to start reading this to celebrate the 1st of October, because even though it's not tied to fall or autumn specifically, I can only imagine it's going to talk about that because it's about witches and 'tis the season for witches. So yes, that is my plan to celebrate October. I should probably say that this is just going to be a stereotypical weekend for me. I'm not going out of my way to do anything super fall festive like apple picking or pumpkin picking. I mean, I'm not that ambitious. Hopefully I will do it at some point in the season, but I figured as I'm going through this weekend, I will just try to embrace autumn and fall as much as possible and bring you along with it. So yeah, let's get started. Happy Saturday. So it's about 9 a.m. I slept in because Connor and I stayed up way too late watching Midnight Mass while eating Chinese takeout last night. My original plan was to wake up and go to the farmer's market this morning before we have Kung Fu class at 10:30. But I don't think I have enough time to drive there and look at all the stalls and get to Kung Fu on time. So instead, I'm going to spend the next hour reading. Maybe I'll go to the farmer's market afterwards. If not, I'll go to my favorite grocery store. But yeah, that is the plan. Like I said, we binge watched Midnight Mass, so I did not get much reading done of The Nature of Witches. I'm about a quarter of the way through. Hopefully I should get done today. I have quite a lot of time to read today. And it says I should be done reading in about 3 hours. So that's exciting. Okay, I'll check in later. so I just got back from the farmer's market. We went to Kung Fu. It was great. I'm really sweaty still. And I had just enough time to go to the farmer's market and get some groceries. I was specifically so happy because ever since I read American Gods by Neil Gaiman this past week, it was supposed to go in my September TBR, but I hadn't quite finished it when I started filming, so it'll be in the October one. But they talk a lot about the Upper Peninsula and specifically a food that's eaten there a lot called pasties. And they are, they're these folded up pastries that come from Cornwall, England, but they're made a lot in the UP and kind of characterize that culture. And there's this one place called Grandpa's Pasties that always sells them at the farmer's market, and so I ran straight to that booth and I got the very last one that was being sold today in the nick of time. So I'm feeling good about myself. But it looks like this. I got the Youper. So yeah, it's just this pastry and it has this delicious filling. It has this cute little Y. Very excited, I'm about to eat that. And when I was there, it was just so beautiful because clearly the booths were feeling autumn. They're really embracing this autumn season that we're in, which feels really fitting because I had just so in The Nature of Witches, it kind of goes through each season, and I was reading through the autumn season, and there's just some beautiful passages that talk about autumn. For example, one quote is, "If spring is a whispered promise that everything can be made new, autumn is a brilliant sacrifice born of love, because if the autumn did not love the spring, it would not fall to winter just so the spring could rise." Isn't that beautiful? But it really talks about how autumn's this interplay between life and peace, but also sorrow because things are dying. And at the farmer's market, that just was really in my mind because we're at the transitional point of the season, so there was a lot of food from the summer that was discounted and on the verge of being too ripe, like it shouldn't really be sold. But then also all this bountiful fall produce is starting to come into season. So yeah, I got some things and I figured I'd show you because I like seeing food, so maybe you will too. So I immediately got some carrots and celery because I feel like I'm always cooking with those. And oh, this one's kind of dented. And even if I don't, I just cut them up and make my own veggie broth if they start going a little bit too bad. There was also some eggplants that were being sold. These were only 3 for $2, so I'm making eggplant parmesan tonight with some green beans. They were out of green, so I got yellow. Like I was saying, how the summer fruits are starting to go bad. These grapes are on the verge of being way too ripe, but they were so cheap, I figured I would just get some and eat it with my pasty. And then the last thing I just got were some eggs. I try to not buy a ton of commercial eggs. We mostly eat vegetarian, but I do love some eggs in the morning every now and then, and this is a local farm that sells them pretty cheap, but still I feel better about buying it from the farm. That might be completely in my head. That's likely. So yeah, I'm gonna put up these groceries, eat my pasty and my grapes, drink some coffee, and possibly finish The Nature of Witches this afternoon. It's going to rain, I think, starting around 2 p.m. It's almost 1 p.m. now. And if that happens, I'm gonna be really excited, but I think I'm gonna make some cookies just because I'm feeling in the mood before I make the eggplant parmesan tonight. And then I don't know if I'll do more reading after I finish The Nature of Witches. Sometimes I jump book to book. Sometimes I feel like I should give the book its day so I can think about it, but I guess only time will tell. It's about 3:50 and I just finished The Nature of Witches. I feel a little bit silly finishing our book club book for October, the second day of October, but it's done and I'm just gonna have to remember how I felt about it at the end of October when we actually discuss it. I enjoyed it. It was very reminiscent of some of the earlier Elizabeth Chandler books. I don't know if you ever read those, but like A Legacy of Lies and No Time to Die, those kind of like 80s, 90s, young adult, fantasy, paranormal, like romance coming of age books. This book was quite short and things moved really quickly, and there was character development, but everything felt a little more like blunt and happen off screen. Like when time just moves so quickly in a novel, it's hard for me to view it as like immersive as a novel that takes place over maybe a few weeks or a month or so, but is really in depth. I don't know, does anybody else feel like that? Maybe that's just my own weird feelings about books. But yeah, so it's about 4. It took me a little bit longer to get through this than I imagined, but I still need to go to the store to get things for cookies and for dinner. I might also get some fall candles, just really playing into this fall month, and I'll check in later. Because I know you're just dying to know which flavor candle I ended up getting. I got sweet cinnamon pumpkin, because we might not drink pumpkin in this household, but we sure do like to smell like it. And I got pumpkin vanilla cream. I think this is a new scent. I don't know, I'm actually usually too poor to buy Bath & Body Works candles, because they're expensive and probably toxic. But I had a really good coupon, so I got these really cheap. So yeah. Happy Sunday. It is 9:30 in the morning. I woke up and it was extremely dark. It's supposed to be storming all day today, which I'm actually pretty happy about. I love stormy weather, just giving you an excuse to stay bundled up inside under a blanket with a book. Unfortunately today I can't read too much. I have a lot of work to get done. And then I also have our book club meeting at 4 p.m. This is the one where we're talking about erotic stories of Punjabi widows. We're meeting at an Indian restaurant that also doubles as a brewery, so I'm really excited about that. That's around 4 p.m. So in between now and then, I am going to get some work done. Hopefully I will get some reading in, and if I have extra time. Since I finished The Nature of Witches, it's on to the next book, and I'm just really feeling, because of the weather and the fact that it's October, another mystery or dark type of book. So I've isolated it down to 2, either The Secret History by Donna Tartt, I got this from the library, or The Push by Ashley Audrain. This was one of my book of the month picks a couple of months ago, and it's just been on my shelves and I haven't read it. And so if you didn't know, I think everybody kind of knows The Secret History. It's been out since 1992. That's when it was first published. But I read We Were Villains and then In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. And both of those, when in the reviews, people keep comparing it to The Secret History because apparently this is the hallmark of dark academia type of books. And I haven't read it, so I feel like that's sinful that I haven't, and I want to know what I'm supposed to be comparing all of these books to. The problem is it sounds like a long book, and I've heard the writing slightly dense, so I don't know if I want to commit myself to that immediately, which is why I also grabbed The Push. And this one says it's a tense, page-turning psychological drama about the making and breaking of a family and a woman whose experience of motherhood is nothing at all like what she hoped for and everything she feared. Maybe I'll read this because it does look like the chapters are short and the text is particularly pretty spaced out, so I don't think this would take me long at all. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I will try to keep you updated and not forget to vlog today. I think that today will be my last day vlogging, so we'll make this a weekend vlog. Okay, check in soon. I'm about to go to the bookshop to get some work done before my book club meeting, but before I did that, I did start The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I know I just said that I thought, or I had heard the writing was dense. Now that I've actually started reading it, I don't think that's the case. I think for a mystery, it's just very beautiful. I mean, it's really lyrical in how it's already being written. And maybe that's just, it caught people off guard. But the first paragraph of the first chapter, for example, says, does such a thing as the fatal flaw, that showy, dark crack running down the middle of a life, exist outside literature? I used to think it didn't. Now I think it does. And I think that mine is this, a morbid longing for the picturesque at all costs. Okay, Donna Tartt, go ahead and just call me out this fine Sunday morning. Rude. No, but I'm really enjoying it. I probably will not be able to talk about it that much during this weekend vlog, but I will keep you updated through Goodreads when I finish this. Already loving it. Okay, goodbye. I just got back from my book club. Once again, we were reading erotic stories of Punjabi widows. I talked about this in my monthly wrap-up for September. And thank the Lord, everybody had a somewhat consensus rating it around a 3.5 to 4. I don't know about you, but I get really insecure talking and rating a book because I think who in their right mind gave me permission to judge someone else's book? I have no merits. I have nothing to give. So to know that my thoughts were echoed by others was really encouraging. I figured I will end it here. If you are watching this and you are not related to me, then wow, that blows my mind. Thank you. I really think I have a boring life, but filming it and talking about it was actually really fun and something new to experience, which I really enjoyed. To end though, I thought I would read last night. I'm about to say this and it's gonna give off this air that I'm actually really sophisticated and intelligent, and that's not the case because I never read poetry. But I did pick up American Primitive by Mary Oliver last night because I was tired and I didn't want to start something that I felt would make me want to stay up. And since poetry is shorter and more concise, I thought, oh, I'll read this. And there was a fall poem, which I thought was fitting for the theme of this weekend. And so I figured I'd end reading off that. So once again, this is American Primitive from Mary Oliver, and the poem's called Fall Song. So Fall Song, another year gone, leaving everywhere its rich spice residues, vines, leaves, the uneaten fruits crumbling damply in the shadows unmattering back from the particular island of this summer, this now. That now is nowhere, except underfoot, moldering in that black subterranean castle of unobservable mysteries, roots and sealed seeds, and the wandering of water. This I try to remember when time's measure painfully chafes, for instance, when autumn flares out at the last, boisterous and like us longing to stay, how everything lives, shifting from one bright vision to another forever in these momentary pastures. Once again, who gave me permission to read poetry online? Nobody. Nobody did. But thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week.